Okay, so hi everybody. This is the update interview. I'm going to go to the PowerPoint and go through some of the slides that I've already shown you in the past, but just to highlight some issues. And then we'll come back and answer some of the questions that you sent in. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we go. Now, once you've gotten the interview, you are definitely in the running for a spot. So you know, even if it's an interview that you've gotten only because you were rotating there, it's definitely still an opportunity for you. If you make a good impression, basically, once you have the interview, that's going to decide if they're going to rank you or not. The key point here is not, answering difficult questions, but actually how much they like you, how much it seems like, that you're someone that they want to take and they be with for the next 4 or 5 or 3 years. So that's why you really need to emphasize how nice you are and how well you get along with everybody. We talked about conservative attire. Critical here is to be looking professional. Again, smile from the point of view that if you're smiling and you're enjoying yourself, people like being with you. We always recommend a firm handshake, not squeeze them and kill them, but not dead fish. Practice. You really should do your research and your homework about who you're meeting with and where you have to go and where you need to be and what time. That's critical. I mean, you should be super prepared for this stuff. Okay? I tell people to sit on the edge of the chair. Some people like to sit back. You should appear engaged and interested. Just like we talked with CS, eye contact without giving the person a stare. Be relaxed. Be yourself. You need to be able to talk about weaknesses honestly, but not necessarily bring them up. So if you have failed a clerkship, you need to have something prepared for that. But you don't need to say, by the way, just so you know, my main issue is that I failed, surgery. You need to be able to speak about Sackler, about Israel, about your records in a positive light without being apologetic, but with being honest. And that's not always easy, but it's definitely possible. You say the reason I went to Sackler, is because I wanted the Israeli experience. They really ask you, did you get into any schools in the States? You could say, I had a hard time getting into the school that I wanted in the U.S., but truthfully, I'm so happy that I came to Sackler. It was the best decision. It's been great. It's been amazing, whatever. You have to be enthusiastic about the program. You have to be interested in the city, in the specialty, what you're doing. Again, they want to see that you're excitable, that you're involved, that you're engaged. You should know why you have chosen this program, why you have to interview at, why you've chosen your specialty. It shouldn't just be because I like kids. We've talked about this. It should be a specific medical reason and an emotional reason that speaks to the depth of your personality. You should always say how hard you'll work. People always want an interest in academics and research and scholarship, even if that's not your forte. You have to be interested in at least dabbling in it. You should be able to be impressed by the program and things they have to offer, but be humble and be willing to learn. You need to remember that different interviews are different, attendings versus the chairman versus residents, but in each situation, you need to be on your best behavior. The residents can report you, as we said, the interview dinner or luncheon, fair game. So you have to really be kind and affable to everybody, whether it's a secretary or a nurse or anybody. You want to be nice to everybody. That's how you should be in general, but certainly on an interview. You should be yourself. People should like to be around you. It's like choosing a teammate to compete on Survivor. If you're too quiet, it's hard for the interview, but if you're talking without stop and they can't get in a word in edgewise, you need to have some gentle balance. Again, it should be a natural conversation. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. The more you rehearse, the more it'll come out naturally because you won't stumble. You'll have thought about this already. If you want to ask the interviewer questions about their research, about the clinical, let them talk a little bit. It doesn't hurt you. As long as you've gotten, like, you should have like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 main talking points, your strength of your application. Make sure you get those in. There are specific stories that you want to tell. Make sure you get those in. Make sure you find a way to make yourself look good without being artificial. Now, it's illegal for them to ask you where else you're interviewing, but they'll do that. I don't think there's really anything to hide here. Again, you don't have to tell them every single detail how you're waiting on the Tufts interview. That's really your #1 choice. But you say I'm interviewing here and there. Make a personal connection. Focus on how to connect with these people. Have them be your advocates. Make sure you have questions. What's the theory of education in this program? How often do we have didactics? Is there research money? Do we get to go to, can we go to a conference if we're presenting? Things that are real, but not bringing up like, how much do we make or how many weeks of vacation do we have? Make sure you know how to contact them. Who's the contact person? When they make their rank order list so we can call them from the dean's office. As far as the follow-up note, there was a question that came online about that, some controversy. I still think that an email, a short professional email is the way to go. Something personal that shows you remember the interviewer or the interview setting between the two of you. Again, second visits for some people that haven't rotated a place where they're interviewing is a good idea. Not everyone accepts second visits. Some people don't allow, some specialties don't allow second visits, but it's a great day to shadow the chairman, look at the city again, see it from a different vantage point, also for yourself. Again, it's a little bit more money, it's another place, but if it's really the place that you want to go, you want to make sure that you're making the right decision. Remember the prelims. This is for people with an advanced match, and as you know, it can be in any field, but you have to make sure you got a prelim. You don't want to lose your advanced program match because you don't have a prelim. If you're in danger of not having enough interviews, then you need more prelims. You want prelims that you choose rather than having to find them in the SOAP. The SOAP is not our friend. It's a very challenging thing, especially for international applicants. So stay away from the SOAP. Make sure you can send out some prelims so you can have those interviews. Okay, now let's see if we can go back. 1 second. So there were some other questions that were brought up to me. I want to address them. What if you don't have enough interviews? Again, you can send out emails. You can try to do that. You can also try it through contacts or through alumni. The truth is that a lot of times when you don't have enough interviews, it's hard to get those additional interviews. And if someone asks a favor, that's not necessarily going to lead to an interview where they'll rank you, but it could. So that's another thing. When do invitations stop? There's a couple of waves. The second wave is going to be coming in the next couple of weeks after the people start canceling when they have too many interviews. And they could end up till January. You can get an interview really late. Just a point here, if you're going to have an interview and you're going to come back late to school, just the policy is really clear. If you miss days of your first rotation coming back in January, you're going to have to make that time up after graduation. There isn't facility to make that up on weekends or nights. It's not a big deal, but you just need to understand that's the policy. Let us know if you're coming back late. It's critical. How do I know what my chances are? It's really impossible to say. It depends on the interview, and sometimes they'll give you some feedback about, we really liked you. It was really great having you here. We'd like to see you here. Most of the times you won't get feedback, and that's also okay. Because anyway, you're going to rank programs based on your choice. How much, even if it's a reach or something like that. So you're going to put that down. So it doesn't really matter if you have a chance or not. What you'll be looking for in a program, again, you want to be able to enjoy that, being there. You want to like the residents. You want to like the attendings. You want to feel like you can fit in. You want to like the city. Again, that's not the end all and be all, but you have to work there for 3, 4, 5 years. So it's important. Obviously, you want to see that they have all of the relevant technology in your field, all of the different subspecialties. You want to see if the residents are happy. If the residents aren't happy, you're going to be miserable. No matter how great a resident you are, If everyone else is miserable, you're also going to be miserable. So make sure that people are happy. Make sure that they fund people for CME and conferences. Those are all helpful things. And ultimately, it's how you feel in your gut. What about 3 letters, not 4? Again, initially when you apply to ARIS, we told you don't problem 3 letters, wait for the 4th. At this point, there's really nothing to be lost by sending one of your Israeli letters and having 4 letters. It's just the standard, so I would do that. Pre-matching. So if you're offered a program outside of the match, which there aren't that many anymore, but if you are and you think, wow, this could be good, or I want to take a chance, so talk to me about it, but probably will tell you to go for it, accept it, and then you withdraw from the NRMP, and then that's it. And that works out fine. So it says, I've emailed the program director expressing my interest. They responded they have taken note and will consider it when reviewing my application. Okay, you did your job. You told them you're interested. The only other thing that you're going to do is maybe at the end we're going to ask you to identify one program that's really your top program that you say you're my top choice, and this is maybe towards January. Other than that, once you've told them you're interested, you can't tell them you're interested. You don't want to be annoying. Again, it's important. I'm really concerned about this program. I like this program. That's great. What are mistakes that people make during interviews? Typically, if you're arrogant or if you're overbearing, those are the typical mistakes. If you tell something that's not true or you make something up, if you're rude to somebody and get into a scuffle or a disagreement about something, no, I think the future of radiation oncology is actually, in the toenail. You don't want to be getting into a controversial subject with somebody on an interview. Those are typically the mistakes. If people come late, people are not professional, people are not dressed professionally. Those are the mistakes that we've seen. If you talk to the program director, make them your ally. Tell them, here's my record. How can you help me? What do you think is the best programs in the field? What's unique about your program? How could I fit in here? I'm just trying to make them part of your team. Standing out and being humorous, it's really risky. You want to be yourself. If that's just how you are, you're just kind of relaxed and natural, great. But if it's something more than that, I think that's probably, you're just taking a chance that people won't think that you're a little bit weird. What might be funny to you, it might not be funny to somebody else. How do we answer your greatest weakness? I think, again, I use the word challenge. What are my challenges? My challenges are that I get too involved with my patients. My challenges are that I got too many interests outside of the hospital. My challenges are that I have family and work, challenges. But I look forward to these challenges, and I look forward to being able, with the help of the program, to be able to move on and move forward and to be a more precise and excellent clinician. Always end with a positive rather than a negative. I think that's it. So again, we're going to try to talk to as many of you as we can one-on-one. We're going to continue this dialogue about what to do with interviewing. I think ultimately you guys are going to do great, but you just have to keep working. Don't give up, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay, so more questions, please email or WhatsApp or whatever. We're here for you guys. We know we're going to be successful. I hope this was helpful. Let's see if we can get the link here. I'll send it out over the listserv. Okay, so good luck, everybody, and I'm signing off.